What is going on, family? Welcome back to the channel. And in today's video, I'm going to break down some of the best privacy projects. I'm also going to give you an understanding of the different types of privacy projects there are, such as privacy blockchain, privacy browser, and of course, privacy coins. It is a minefield. People actually just follow the narrative, don't really understand what's actually happening in the space. And I'm going to give you an update. So first of all, big up to our DXB community, big up to Nansen. Of course, this is where we get the edge. We have a dedicated channel in our Discord, one of the best Discords there is, because there's the likes of Caveman, Madman, Muzzy, Jimmy. There's so many unbelievable people there. Pete, I just ran out of words of how good this community is. If you want to join us, is literally going to be the best way for you to invest in cryptocurrency moving forward. So check out our Discord today. Of course, it is just $9 a month. Now, there are three types of privacy related cryptocurrency. There are privacy blockchains. These are genuinely like a general blockchains where, you know, you get tons of different cryptocurrencies, and these tend to be general purpose. So these could be, you know, for anything from StarkNet to, you know, Tezos. These are cryptocurrencies which have privacy features. Now, they're not the same thing as specifically the privacy coins, which are specifically designed just to be 100% in the privacy narrative. So you may be wondering, what's going on, DXB? First of all, what is a privacy cryptocurrency? Now, if you were around in the days, of course, with Monero, it faced a lot of backlash. But why is it doing so well all of a sudden? There is a massive concern about CBDCs, government overreach. But these are some of the reasons as to why. We know Europe is draconian. We know the UK is Stone Age, literally draconian. And banning these cryptocurrencies has been at the heart. So that's always a risk when you go into privacy. There has to be a way for you to understand that any token at any time could be delisted from anywhere. Regardless of crypto adoption, this is the biggest threat to Big Brother and control. And hence why projects like Zcash have moved in because of that concern. Okay, so concern number one, increase government surveillance and blockchains. And if you know anything about the UK and European laws, they don't want their people to win. They don't believe in us, but God did. That's what they're saying, right? They're acting like these governments are moving like DJ Khaled. And of course, the US, we don't know what's going to happen beyond 2028. We don't know whether these new cryptocurrency laws that was obviously favored by both sides of the aisle in the United States, we just don't know when policy changes happen. So we have to be cautious. Hence why what you're seeing is a 25 billion cryptocurrency sector, which is currently sitting at $18 billion market cap. You may think it's already run, but I do have some projects that fit the bill for you to be able to look. This is not a narrative to be all in, you know, all out, all guns blazing, right? This is a narrative where you trade, and with the recent pump, what hasn't pumped and why we could still win in this sector. So you've got to first of all identify what this is for, right? Major regulators on crackdown, and this is really key, right? So if I just pick up this one here, it's all about Bitcoin's traceability. And that's where they've cashed in with these types of projects. So increased government is key. Surveillance is key. Of course, blockchain forensics. These technologies have grown over the last few years. Everybody knows who's doing what on the blockchain. Now, in addition to that, big money always wants to find a way to obviously to hide money. I mean, this is age old, right? This is as old as time itself, of course. And then there was a catalyst on top of that, which is the Zcash halving this month. Now, these coins have performed incredibly well. They have performed over 79%. And in the case of Zcash, of course, that has done like 500, 600%, 700% in such a short time. So you don't want to chase the narrative. You want to be able to look at the pullbacks. This has done nothing for many, many years. So don't get it twisted. My aim here is more educational about the space. Yes, I have some banging projects for you, but you have to understand you can't react to it because it's been running. You have to react to it, and you could understand the fact that these narrative like this could stay dormant for a very long time. But the threat of CBDCs and more controls around the world has given this sector a massive, massive boost. Okay, so now we got to look at top privacy coins. And of course, overall, what these mean. Now, look, I'm going to go into more specific details about particular tokens. Yes, but the bad boy in this has been Zcash. Okay, ranked 15 overall in terms of that. I mean, of course, I can update that, but $8 billion is way too big. Unique tech, because the tech is going to be very important. zkSync technology, zero knowledge proofs, without revealing details. That's very different. But could there be another blockchain that we could actually play that powers the technology behind Zcash? We know it's built on Neo protocol. It's on Solana as well. And of course, there is also optional privacy between users can choose between transparency or what they call the ADDR or shielded ZADDI transactions. So rather than the case of Monero, Zcash gives you the ability to opt in or opt out in a way as if, you know, like kind of ticking a GDPR compliance box or something along those lines. Now, what makes it kind of unique, and again, you know, a lot of people are saying, you know, Bitcoin whales actually love this idea. There's a regulatory flexibility, okay? More exchange friendly than Monero due to the optional transparency. Okay. So you've got to remember the biggest thing about Monero has always been, it was always delisted, right? It got a big DL for many exchanges. But now that you know this is absolutely optional transparency, you could either go dark or you could be traced. It really it gives you that extra flexibility. That's why I think in the long term, we've got to be able to put this as a bear market hit list, and it can still grow some more. I mean, this could go to 80 billion from 8 billion. That's a 10x. This could go a lot more. Some people are even saying it has the ability to actually go and attract a large number of Bitcoin whales, but I wouldn't go too far. And when you see the chart, of course, like I said, it's been dormant for many, many years. So everybody who's been onto this narrative, don't act like you, obviously, you've been following this narrative and you've been holding Zcash from 2021 and all of a sudden now you're an expert. No, everyone is kind of running after it without understanding the technology. But the reason I bring this video is if this crashes, then you understand you could actually do really well with something like privacy coins in a bear market, accumulate them, and they tend to do well in a bear market anyway. Okay. And then, of course, this was, on top of that, a shielded pool growth. Over 30% of the total supply, 4.9 million plus ZEC, now fully shielded. That's an all-time high, right? So, you know, a large portion is now fully shielded, taking advantage of that, you know, that kind of amazing opt-in, opt-out privacy feature. And again, you know, there was Grayscale increased holdings from 320K to 380K, January to August. They've been buying heavily. And of course, launch Zcash Trust Fund, all right? Historical movement, Zcash overtook Monero in terms of market cap for the first time in November 2025, signaling a potential change of guard. It is now the largest privacy coin. When we see something like this, we don't FOMO, but what we do is go and experiment with the other narrative, other cryptocurrencies within the same narrative that can actually benefit from this long term. And then, of course, the halving event, reducing the block time from 3.125 to 1.562 ZEC. Okay, daily supply drops by 1,500. So the fact that it's got this halving event, that is one of the reasons why it's been moving up in terms of the value. Now, inflation rate wise, again, I'll talk about more other cryptocurrencies, but I really want you to grasp and understand why these narratives are important. Inflation rate moves from double digits to a single digit. That's a major narrative. I think this has a long way to go. However, like I keep saying, you've got to be cautious and just understand why. And when you see names like Arthur Hayes, okay, predicting it's going to go to $10,000, we track his wallets, right? He has EtherFi, he has all of these other things. And we know that these whales really do manipulate the market. I know the amount of core projects that he was dumping in the last few weeks, right? So don't get EtherFi was supposed to, go into a certain price point by Arthur Hayes. So you got to take a pinch of salt. However, this number is of interest to me because of the Bitcoin tokenomics and halving style. So $10,000 really, I talk about Bitensa Tau in these realms, right? Tau goes to, 10,000, 50,000 one day. Zcash, could it really, is this giving the dirty money in crypto a way to be finally legit? Is it giving institutions the ability to mask more money? It's a number to keep in your head, right? Sub 1,000 now, Bitcoin tokenomics, halving events, future prediction of people saying, it could go to $10,000. I could potentially see that in the long term. But it all depends on what? These guys here. CBDCs. Okay. CBDCs are going to be the norm. It doesn't matter what people say. And of course, this is going to be a massive, again, they say, it's an insurance against Bitcoin surveillance. So that is a very powerful argument, but Bitcoin will always be Bitcoin. You have nation states that are mining Bitcoin, right? But Silicon Valley, as an insurance against Bitcoin surveillance, could potentially work. So I love the number, but are you willing to hold for a very long time until the narrative returns? I think we should all be conscious when these things are put out. We need to be able to scrutinize them. But I do like the fact that you have the Bitcoin surveillance right here. You have CBDCs right here, and you have this word called the hedge. So this is where crypto is planning to store value away from Bitcoin. But how does that work? If you're obviously on the blockchain, you should be able to, especially with opt-in and opt-out, I still need to work that out. But nevertheless, these are very, very critical and important features. Technical breakdown for long-term resistance, search in terms of the trading volume. These are all factors that have led this thing to go to $8 billion. You are now looking at the same market cap as things like Hyperliquid and others. So is it the end for Monero? We can do this in several different videos, right? We don't have to do it all in one video, but I can tell you now, this was at one stage in 2016, Zcash was traded at $3,000. In 2025, it's traded at $496. Some would argue that the narrative is already run, and I tend to agree with that. Of course, I am educating you to be able to see this market cap go perhaps into $100 billion in terms of valuation, and it won't be the realm of possibility for Zcash to do that. Now, how could you trade off? Well, contract is near protocol, okay? And the last time I checked near protocol is about $2-3 billion in terms of market cap. Okay, so if you look at, for example, what we have here is near. I think near is an excellent beta trade to Zcash. I'm not saying that it's going to be bigger than Zcash. However, it is obvious that at $2.3 billion and having fundamental project like this being built on top of it, I think Near Protocol does gain traction. Okay, so again, it's AI. I still believe BitTensorTau is light years ahead in terms of pure decentralized AI. But in the case of Zcash, you cannot ignore the fact that Zcash is built on Near protocol. Now, in terms of, for me, the overall feeling here is there's Dash, there's Beto, there's, these are all the privacy blockchains. But there's one that I'm really, really watching, and that's called Horizen Zen. Similar in terms of the tokenomics, 21 million. This is very obvious what's happening here. 65 million in terms of the market cap listed on Binance. It is a coin that has traction, and it's been around since the same age as Zcash. A little bit younger, but more or less around the same time. Privacy for new era, Web3 privacy, fast ecosystem on base, delivering auditable confidentiality, and of course, it's focusing on the same thing. So this will be my beta play. Okay, apart from Near protocol, which I trade, this would be the privacy coin, in my opinion, built on base, that is going to give you a similar vibes to, and again, age longevity in terms of privacy and technology. It's an obvious one. Now, in addition to that, obviously, there are more. We can talk about the whole of these privacy coins, and also this whole idea of having a list of privacy blockchain. Now, StarkNet could be a beneficiary, and the other one could be zkSync. Why? Because of the tech. Okay, the tech that drives the, you got to think about these things in terms of objectivity. You can't buy everything, right? But at least you understand the mechanics of where to go when you're looking at privacy. Then you've got all of these other privacy blockchains, but these are privacy blockchains. Okay, Dusk, anyone protocol. I mean that's ridiculous. But Kai Network, Zephyr. These are all blockchains with certain privacy features. But the one that I would go to would be Horizen on base, because it does have that ZK, what I would probably consider the rotation of potential whales. Okay, Near protocol, of course, like I said, does benefit from that. And in terms of my own kind of watch list, Zen is actually underperforming the market, which is pretty crazy. Everything else is up. Dash, XMR, Zeph, and of course Zec is down 2%. You'd expect profit taking, but I hope you understand how to track these things. Let me know what you've learned, and of course have these on your watch list. And of course, as always, the market is in extreme fear, and this is a good time, and this is one of the reasons why I'm putting out top quality content for my peoples, so that you can absolutely take advantage of the research and do your own research. So again, Monero, privacy by default. That's ring signatures, mix of real signatures with decoys, typically 16 ring members, stealth addresses, but it is extremely privacy focused. You notice how Zcash and Zen and Dash, they're all mixing privacy with transparency. These guys know they're the OG, middle finger to big guys, of course, ASIC resistant. And I think, you could keep your eyes on this as the second biggest in terms of this narrative. The deepest ever blockchain recognition, 18 blocks. So they've improved the block time as well. So this was the gold standard of privacy coins before Zcash came. Only true privacy by default option. 58% of the total supply, is already circulating. And of course, then there's other ones like Oasis's Rose, EVM compatible, whatever. Secret Network. This is again, 876 million. We talked about BDX. BDX is at 400 to 480 million. Again, it has a privacy ecosystem beyond just transactions. And again, it has stealth addresses, Monero style privacy, and proof of stake transition from proof of work in 2021. These are old school cryptocurrencies Dash is now obviously the third largest in terms of the whole sector. And again, it says optional mixing feature inherited from CoinJoin for those of us that remember. So it is obviously, and then there's Horizen here. Again, ZK Snarks built on, of course, now on Base, sidechain platform, privacy plus scalability. And again, large decentralized node system. And it has a good cross-chain bridge. Okay, so this is more for privacy transactions, decentralized applications, of course, scalable blockchain solutions, and then Pharaoh, and there's a few more. But I will be publishing a full study in our Discord. Like I said, join us at any moment. We'd love to have you there. Check out my socials with my special channel partnerships. And of course, as always, this video to you was brought by BitHash, DXB's mining company partnership that allows us to be able to rig, sell rigs, and everything else there is. So guys, it's been brilliant. I'll catch you on the next video. Hope you like that. Leave some comments. Take care.